What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bartley and Barnes YouTube channel, and this is a television review of You Season 4, Part 1. I think that's it. Yeah, You Season 4, Part 1. I am your host today, Jacob Bartley. And yes, this is a totally random television review. But, here at Bartley and Barnes, we do love TV. And there's certain shows that Keith and I are both passionate about. Last year, I reviewed the whole Dexter New Blood, every episode, which was interesting and fun to do. And now that You Season 4 Part 1 dropped, I wanted to do a review about it. Now, let me just explain my journey with the You franchise. I was kind of pessimistic about it at first. I never was interested in it before, and I just watched the whole series earlier this like a few months ago. I started watching season 1, and I like the show Dexter a lot. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, and it's about a serial killer who is trying to do the right thing, but constantly gets dragged into crazy situations. And that's kind of what You has became. At first, the Joe Goldberg character was he was not redeemable at all, in my opinion, in season 1 at all. And then they slowly started to make him redeemable, or at least attempting to make him redeemable in season 2 going forward. And I don't think, as a real human being in the real world, you can't really forgive him for all the things he's done. But in this fictional world, I think there's room for redemption for the character. And basically, his journey up until now has brought him to Europe. He was in Paris last time we saw him tracking down Mary Kay. And we see him in London now, as posing as an English professor named Jonathan Moore. Now, this is just funny to me because I seen the trailers, and obviously I saw that he's a professor, and I was like, wow, how is he going to pull that off? And we do get the answer, but my first guess was that, if you remember in season 2, he the first guy that he locks in his cage and he lets go. Why do I forget the character's name? He was an awesome character. The guy, I think he went to Thailand, and he was the one who Joe got his fake identity from in season 2. Well, he stole it, and then they became friends while he had him captured. And then I thought, oh, that's going to be his fake ID guy, his fake identity guy. That's not the route they went. But it was pretty cool what they did do in this. And it's interesting because, like, the thing with Joe Goldberg, and they talk about this in the novels as well. And side note, after I finished seasons 1 through 3 of You, I I basically binged all 3 audiobooks for the first 3 novels. And those were fun. I would say the show's a little bit better, but those books are a lot of fun. I really like the first 2 books a lot. Third one's pretty good too. Excited for the 4th one that comes out later this year. And I'm curious to see, because the first 3 books, or the first 3 seasons, draw from the books but don't directly adapt them, especially seasons 2 and 3. So I'm curious to see how close season 4 is to book 4. I believe it's called For You and Only You. And the funny thing is, I believe Kepnes, the writer, I believe she said that Joe Goldberg is a professor, in the new book. So it's adapting some of it because the producers and the writers for the show get the book as soon as it's done so they can start adapting the new season. That's why the season's coming out before the book does. I also think maybe there's a thing of sense of spoilers. The book doesn't want to spoil the show because I guess maybe the show has become more important lately. I don't know. No offense to the books. I freaking love the books. I can't wait for the fourth one. And she's the creator, so props to her. Real quick, I want to say hi to Star Drew. Thank you, Star Drew. Just here for the support, here to support. Appreciate you as always. And you say, should I say thanks to Keith or Jacob to bring back TV show recap again? So I'm guessing you're saying that because I said Keith was going to be the showrunner of Bartley and Barnes. And maybe you're wondering, did Keith get Jacob to go do this review? No, that would be cool. But when I'm really, really passionate about something, a show, a movie, whatever, I have to talk about it. And not everybody watches this show, and not everybody that I know would finish it as quickly as I have. So wanted to get out here and talk about it. But, so for Keith, I told Keith, he will be the showrunner of the Bartley and Barnes podcast, which is basically, that show, whatever it's going to become. We're working on it, and the details behind the scenes. But we're still going to do side stuff. Like we're going to do television reviews on the side, probably movie reviews. And we're talking about doing album reviews, like music seat, I was going to almost said CD. Haven't heard that in a long time. Album reviews. So keep an eye out for that. If you like, pop culture, hip hop, television, movies, music, come check out, subscribe to Bartley and Barnes. That's what this YouTube channel is. But back to You season 4. So look, talked a lot of BS to open this video, but bottom line is, do I like season 4? Yes, I do. It's a murder mystery. There's each season kind of has its theme. Season 1 was, I would say, really leaned into the novel like the writing element, inspiration, really dove into books. Guinevere, his love interest in that season, was a writer. So it dealt with that. Season 2 deals with Hollywood. A lot of those themes there. So now that I'm realizing this, I believe it's Catherine Kepnes, right? The author. Is it? Yeah. Oh, Caroline Kepnes. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Caroline Kepnes. So now that I'm thinking about this, she basically has Joe waging war with writers, movie and TV producers, and more writers, because Guinevere's a writer. 40 and Love were kind of film producers in a way. I mean, 40 was a director and a creator, and Love kind of joined him on that journey. I mean, in the novel, she's more involved in 40's productions, but I think he basically had to wage war with them. Then in book 3, I guess he wages war with a rock star in a way, partially. Yeah, so a novelist, a writer, movie producer, a rock star. Now season 4, we're back to another writer, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I like the whole setup. He's in England. Like, you can't just, every season he's in a different city, so it creates a new environment. That's cool. I mean, that allows for creatively for them to do some unique things, some new things with the show. So that's cool. He's in England. He has a new cast of characters around him, a whole group of rich friends in England, mostly British. There's one American hanging out with them. it's a cool setup. He's trying to avoid any romantic entanglements. He just calls it his European vacation, his little European vacation, his European getaway from all the craziness. But you know what we do need to talk about, which I did not bring up yet, is Marianne. So Marianne is the librarian from season 3 who has a daughter. Joe Goldberg falls in love with her, kills her crazy, abusive ex-husband. She comes to find out about all this from Love, and she gets out of there. Smart woman. He tracks her down, and we see this. There's important scenes in the first couple episodes of season 4. So these are very important elements because, you know, Marianne was his love interest, and she was, you know, to me, up until that point, Marianne was like the best woman that Joe Goldberg had came across. She was the most genuine, the realist, and you know, I think we all have our opinions about Guinevere. She's an interesting character, but I don't think, even if Joe was just a normal, nice guy, not a killer or stalker, then we would not want him to be with Guinevere. I don't think that would be the case. Love turned out to be a psycho killer just like him, except she doesn't have boundaries. Joe Goldberg does have boundaries, doesn't excuse what he does, but he has boundaries. So there's that. Love was turned out not to be the right person for him. I mean, he's a bit of a hypocrite because as soon as he found out that Love is just like him, he didn't want her anymore. So that's an interesting theme to kind of think about there. And then Marianne is just a good, honest woman. You know, she used to be an addict. She has a troubled past. She's trying to get her daughter, and she's being screwed over by her ex-husband, right? So, like, there was no ill intent in her. She was just a good, genuine person trying to do the right thing. And we all know Joe doesn't deserve her. He's a serial killer. He's a stalker. He's, you know, the list goes on. But Marianne, so the point being, Marianne character is very important. And, you know, I thought there's a possibility he could end up with her. But, you know, if he ends up with somebody, then the show's over, right? I mean, what is he going to do? What are we going to do? Just like have him happily ever after? Because he wants to fall in love and not kill people anymore. But he keeps getting into these crazy situations. So anyways, she tracks her down. So she thinks that he's she doesn't know what happened to him, right? Like, she thinks that he's dead or whatnot. You know, he faked his own death. Obviously, the Quinns are smarter than he is, but we'll get to that in a second. And the Quinns are Love and 40's family, the brother and sister from season 2, book 2. Oh, well, they're all Love's in season 3 as well. So they combined the Love and Marianne, Mary Kay from the book storyline in season 3. And yeah, so Marianne, yeah, he finds her. She sees him and she smiles at first, and then she gets terrified and starts to run away because she realizes, I think first she realizes he's still alive, can't control, like, oh, she actually did love this guy and he's alive. Cool. But then she realizes, oh my gosh, he's a killer. He's alive. He knows that I know. He's going to kill me. So, but he just wants to be with her. Still, crazy stalker. We acknowledge that, right? As us as fans of this character, do not endorse his actions. I don't, at least. I don't endorse his actions. and he tracks her down. He catches up with her, and he just wants to talk to her, but she gets very defensive, pulls out a knife. He takes the knife away. He's like, look, I don't want to hurt you. I want to be with you. I love you. Like, I'm trying to do the right thing here. And then she's like, hell no, like any sane person would. Good job, Marianne. And he's like, look, he lets her go. This brings up an interesting thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is the Elliot character from this season. Yeah, the Elliot character. So this ties into Marianne. So Marianne, she basically is on the run, but she knows about Joe Goldberg, right? She knows about him. She knows what he did, like some of the stuff that he did. He basically admitted that he has a long history of doing these things to her. So then this guy, Elliot, shows up, right? And Elliot is a slight adaptation of a character that I love from the third book, which is called You Love Me, named Oliver. And I don't know why they just didn't call him Oliver. Why wouldn't they? What's the problem? Just call him Oliver, because I love the Oliver character in the third book. And so basically the Oliver character, his ex-wife and his baby mama, Joe Goldberg's baby mama, he has a son, yes, who he left with a wonderful couple back in Northern California. So, yeah, Elliot shows up and he works for the Quinns. So Ray Quinn, the dad, basically he's like, I don't buy it. My daughter did not kill Joe, kill herself, blow up the house. There's no way. So unlimited funds. He hires a hitman, basically, and the hitman tracks down Joe. Sits down with them and says, look, I'm supposed to kill you. Instead, I'm done with this life. Instead, I brought you a fake identity. Go get away, get out of here, go enjoy life. Crazy, right? Like super lucky for Joe Goldberg. This happens similarly in the third book, where Oliver shows up and he's supposed to keep track of Joe and make sure he doesn't get in any trouble, make sure he doesn't bother the Quinns. And if he does get out of line, he can kill him, right? So this is very similar to the Oliver character. And so this guy lets Joe go, but he says, look, Mary Ann is going to be a problem. Because he's basically saying, I'm letting you go, giving you a fake identity. I'm going to tell the Quinns that I finished the job and I killed you. If Mary Ann goes around saying you're still alive and that you're running around Europe, that's a problem for him, because that means he didn't finish the job. So this is going to come into play. They don't really address this again. We see him try to call Elliot. I think it's in episode 3 or so. And we don't see him again after that. But I do think this is going to come into play. I think there's going to be he's having this Europe adventure. He's going to handle his business on this murder mystery thing, right? But I think the long game here is for him to get his son back eventually, and he's going to have to wage war with the Quinns in order to do so, which is kind of where the novels are going, in my opinion, as well. They kind of have gone there, and I do think we will see Elliot, aka Oliver, again. So that whole thing's interesting. Anyways, if you've seen the season so far, he let Mary Ann go. He took her necklace. He walked by her, took her necklace in a crowd, and took a picture of it and said, hey, it's done. And he let her go. So he's proving that look, he's not just going to kill anybody for any innocent people if he doesn't have to. So, but he will if he has to. We've seen that. So yeah, that's kind of where we are leaving off from season 3. But he's a professor now, working at a school. He gets involved with some rich scumbags. They start hanging out. One of them is named Kate. This is the new love interest, but he's strongly trying to avoid love. But how ironic, he can see straight into her window from his apartment, and he kind of sees her and her boyfriend have issues. He goes and hangs out with them. Boyfriend ends up dead on Joe Goldberg's kitchen counter, setting up this murder mystery. And several people start getting whacked, and he gets dragged out to like a mansion with all of them. And it's like a fun murder mystery. Now, like I said, every season has kind of had its theme, like novels and writers, Hollywood. I don't know what you want to say about season 3. The book was, he was kind of raging war with the rock star. I mean, I guess season 3 and book 3 is like Joe Goldberg in the suburbs. That's basically what it is. It's like New York, LA, suburbs, and now he's in England. And there's murder mystery theme going on, which is whatever. He references Agatha Christie a lot. Makes fun. He says the lowest form of literature is the murder mystery. Ironically, he's in a murder mystery, but yeah. So that's the kind of the theme going on here. As far as so look, one of the friends in the group is named Reese, and he's a writer. I believe he's going into a political career or whatever. And this is the big antagonist of season 4. We don't find that out until episode 5, but and now that I've seen it, because like all these characters that he's hanging out with, most of them are scumbags. There's a few that aren't. I mean, Kate isn't. You know who's not actually, and they try to make you feel like she could be a bad person, is Phoebe. Phoebe is the she's kind of I think she's the celebrity, the social media influencer. And she actually tries to hook up with Joe. Every girl tries to hook up with Joe in the show. But Phoebe's actually I think she's actually genuinely a good person, unless some big twist is coming. But like characters like Roald, total douchebag. Lucas, total a-hole. Yeah, and everybody else there is just awful. But Kate and Phoebe aren't so bad, to be honest. But the love relationship with Kate, I like her. She's definitely like, I don't heavily dislike her like I did Guinevere. She could be, but she doesn't seem like a psychopath like Love yet. Marianne was probably the best one so far, but Kate is pretty cool. I like the relationship with Kate because he's genuinely trying to resist her. He genuinely does not want to get involved. There's too much going on. He wants to avoid that, but he can't. She can't. So they're very, very attracted to each other. They get along well. They both have crazy damaged past, but to be fair, by the end of season or episode 5, everything comes out. They find out Joe's not involved in the killings, and everybody knows it's Reese now. He tried to kill Joe and one of the other characters. So that being said, like now that she knows he's safe as far as she knows, she was like, let's go hang out. And Joe's like, no, I can't. And he doesn't want to get involved with her, at least right now, at least for now, because he has a goal in mind, and that is to find Reese. Now, the Reese, I think it's Reese, whatever. This character, now that it was revealed, like I didn't want to think. Look, when we watch a murder mystery, we're all trying to figure it out, right? And I'm like, no, that's too obvious. It can't be the only other guy who seems completely genuinely nice of the friend group. He was the most stable one, the most polite, the smartest, the most intellectual, the one who Joe Goldberg got along with the most. Turns out to be the one who's stalking him, text messaging him. Because kind of obsessed with him, figured out who he is, knows all his secrets. Of course it's going to be that guy. And it was, but that's fine. Like predictable doesn't always mean bad. Like it can be predictable, but executed well. So that's what I'm hoping for with the rest of this, because I have liked it so far. Basically the killer starts messaging him on like an app like Snapchat where the chat deletes, right? And at first Joe's like, leave me alone, you don't know what you're talking about, that's not me, I'm Jonathan Moore, blah blah blah. But then he starts playing into it and he's like, you're right, we should meet, let's hang out. And he tries to kind of mind trick the guy into thinking like, hey, we can be partners, whatever. And that's kind of what the guy wants. But once he realized Joe doesn't really want that, tries to kill him. So that's kind of where we are. Love was a formidable foe for Joe, because she was more ruthless than him and a dangerous killer. So like that was a big challenge for Joe, but this guy is going to be a challenge for Joe because a lot of his problems were with women, or any males he had problems with, he was able to have the element of surprise in going against them for the most part. So this is a foe who's just as intellectually smart as him, and just as, intelligent, and probably could take him on in a fight. So this might be Joe's biggest opponent yet. So we're gonna see how it goes. We got another month until the rest of season 4 comes out. So we got 5 more episodes on March 9th, and I will review those as well. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I mean, there's also the student character, Nadia, one of Joe's students, who was also Malcolm's student, who was the first victim to die. And she comes out, they were having an affair or whatever. But I guess Malcolm slept around with a lot of people. But she's another one of those characters that kind of brings Joe down to earth, where like he's trying to help her, type thing, kind of like the boy in the apartment in season 1, and some of the other characters we've seen here and there that try to show us like the human side of Joe Goldberg. Yeah. We got a couple more comments here from Star Drew. Cool. Tati Gabriel is Marianne. Yeah, I actually really like her as an actress. I don't know what else she's from. Have you seen her in anything else? Because I think she's great. And I had some ideas for her for like some of the casting table characters that we're going to be doing on Apocalypse, because I really like her presence on screen. She's awesome. So I'm kind of upset that like she's not a main character again in this show, to be honest, because I mean they can't really go anywhere with her unless they have him be with her. So I totally get it. But and you say, yeah, Gosford Park or Old Clue Mansion. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. He's stuck in a mansion, like it's like a it's like a huge piece of land. Like there's a forest and everything. Like it's crazy. And there's like 12 rich people on there and security guards and staff. And it's like, it really does feel like an Agatha Christie story in a way, but wrapped in a wrapping paper. So yeah, look, I don't know if we'll ever get back to the simplicity and ruggedness of season 1. And then even like I don't know how to explain it, but season 2, I really felt I really love season 1 and 2. Season 3 is pretty good, not as good as the first 2, but I understand we have to take this character and this story in different directions. London, that's cool. But yeah, I can't really judge the season yet, but as far as the first 5 episodes, love it. I'm just grateful we get to see this character and this story continue, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I thought it was solid. It's really good. it can get better. I just hope there's more to this Reese villain character because it was kind of obvious who he was, that it was him, because it didn't really make sense for any of the other characters. And okay, that's fine, but now give me a compelling character because they were trying to hide that he's the killer. We never really got to know him that well. Now we get to see his real side, and we saw a little bit of it in episode 5. So I can't wait to see where they end up going with that. But yeah, that's going to do it for my review of You Season 4, Part 1. Just wanted to get out there and get it all out of my system because I love this show so much. Let me know what you think of this season so far. Do you like it? Do you have any problems with it? Let's talk. I love this series, love this franchise. If you want to talk about the books too, let me know. We also review books here on Bartley and Barnes, so keep an eye out for that. I'll probably talk about I'll probably review the new You novel. It comes out in April, early April, on this channel. So stay tuned if you're a fan of You, just like I am. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Jacob Bartley. This is the Bartley and Barnes YouTube channel. We do a main show where we talk about all things pop culture, television, movies, music, literature, all that good stuff. So come check us out here on Bartley and Barnes and keep an eye out for more television reviews and random videos. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.